Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have another homeschooling video for you guys today. So if you like homeschooling videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to homeschool on a budget. We've been homeschooling for a few years now for different reasons. The main two reasons being safety issues, and then we wanted to have control over what our kids were learning and when they were learning it. So those are our main two reasons for homeschooling. I did a video a little bit more in depth about our reasons for homeschooling several years ago. It's a very old video, but I'll link in the description box below. If you want to watch that video and get a little bit more of an explanation of why we homeschool, that video will be linked in the description box for you. But over the last few years, I have learned different ways how to homeschool on a budget, when to spend your money, what to spend it on, and places that you can save. So that is exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So make sure you stay to the very end because the last tip will blow your mind. So right off the bat, the best way to save money on homeschooling is to get all of your curriculum for free. That may seem like it's impossible to do, but depending on your reasons for homeschooling, that is definitely something you can do if you go through an online public school option for homeschooling. So I have actually partnered with K-12 today to bring you this video, and K-12 is a tuition-free online public school website that also offers private schools and individual courses to families. K-12 online public school offers state-certified teachers. They comply with state assessment test requirements and attendance. So basically, it's like a traditional public school, but at home.
The great thing about online school is that as the parent, you can have a more involved role in your child's education because you will be his or her learning coach. In online schools, each student has a learning coach, usually the parent, who supports the student and makes sure they're keeping up with their assignments, attending their courses, and talking with their teachers. As your child's learning coach, you will have a huge role with online learning, and K-12 has a bunch of great information and resources on their website for you as the learning coach.
You even get the benefit of parent-teacher conferences. I think that's really important to be able to, if you're not your child's teacher, to be able to communicate with who is your child's teacher of how your child is doing and things to expect from the classes that they're taking and just feedback from the teacher. So I think it's really awesome that they offer parent-teacher conferences, even though it is an online public school. K-12 is perfect for traditional students that may or may not want to go to a public school because of perhaps bullying or a sickness. Maybe they're a military child, they're an athlete or in some kind of competitive sport and they can't get to school as often. K-12 is the perfect solution for all of those different types of scenarios, where your child will receive a diploma and is available in more than 33 states. So again, depending on your reasons for homeschooling, this might be the perfect option for you. And other than having access to a computer and internet access and basic school supplies, it is not going to cost you anything for K-12's online public school program. So check out the K-12 link for free in the description box below to get more information about K-12, the different programs they offer, and to see if K-12's online public school or any of their other private or individual courses are a good match for you and your children. So my next suggestion for how to homeschool on a budget is to combine as many students and subjects with your kids as possible. So matching up similar ages and skill levels, you tend to think, well, all first graders have to be together and all second graders have to be together, but also you have to take into consideration each kid's skill level, and really maybe if you have a third grader that may be on a lower grade language arts level, you may be able to combine them with a first or second grader that you might be teaching. So just figure out ways to combine subjects. I have a second grader and an eighth grader this year, but we still do history together. There are plenty of curriculums out there that will customize and give suggestions for people who are teaching to multiple ages, how to make one curriculum work for all age groups. So do a little bit of research, ask around, figure out what may work for your family where you can combine subjects so that it's a little bit cheaper. You're not having to buy different curriculum for each child, and it tends to save time when you do things together instead of having all these individual subjects. It tends to save time in your homeschool day if you're able to combine kids or skill levels that way. You could also even pair up with another family that may be doing the same curriculum as you and maybe once a week get together and share the project costs or to some type of other activity that may be involved with whatever you're learning in that subject. See if there's any other families that are going to be doing it and would like to do it with you, and you can definitely combine your resources and save some money that way as well. My next tip for saving money when you homeschool is to purchase ebooks instead of all of the workbooks. Now this kind of goes into what I just said about combining subjects. Like for history, for example, we do Story of the World. So I buy the textbook, which is very inexpensive, and I read that to the girls, but then each girl has to have a student notebook. And in their student notebook, that'll have their activity pages and their map work and all that stuff. Well, you could go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon and buy the student workbook for each child. But pretty much every curriculum company out there has an ebook option where you can go online, purchase the ebook, and print it from home for multiple children. They say that in their, in their rules or whatever, that you can use them for personal use with as many kids as you have. I don't think I've ever seen a company say that you couldn't use one ebook download for all of your kids. Yes, you do have to have access to a printer, and the ink and paper aren't free, but in my opinion, it still saves money versus buying 2 workbooks, and it saves money versus buying one workbook and like making a copy. All those things, I think ebooks are the way to go, especially because a lot of workbooks aren't consumable. They may have an activity on the back of the page that you have to cut out, but if you cut it out, then you'll ruin the front of the page. So ebooks are a great option for that as well, because you can print out all of the pages individually and not have to worry about writing or tearing up anything on the back page. And then also, if your kid makes a mistake and they want to start over, you can print another page. And if you maybe want to use this curriculum again with a later child, or you want to go back in a few years, if you're doing Story of the World, it's on a 4-year cycle. So in 4 years, you're going to want to go back and reprint those pages and do this cycle again. So I just think ebooks are the way to go. That's what I did a lot of over the summer to get ready for this school year, and I have loved having the ebooks instead of just having to get workbooks. My next tip for how to homeschool on a budget is to design your own curriculum, and this doesn't have to be as time-consuming as it may sound. Basically, all you need to do is pick a really great reference book and design a curriculum around that. You can create your own worksheets, sure, or you can find tons of really inexpensive unit studies that go along with certain topics on Teachers Pay Teachers. You can find tons of craft activities and suggested videos on Pinterest and on YouTube, so you definitely can create your own curriculum by using very minimal things and kind of piecing together your own curriculum. I did that last year for my youngest daughter's science curriculum. We actually used the Usborne Illustrated Science Dictionary for her and a Carson DeLosa workbook that cost like $6. Basically, all I did was match up the topics in that Carson DeLosa workbook, and I will try to remember to link it in the description box. I matched up those activities with this illustrated dictionary from Usborne, so we would read about the topic, she would do the workbook page, and then I would find any related YouTube videos and then any related crafts on Pinterest, and I just basically typed everything out, designed my own curriculum. She learned a ton last year, and she said that science was her favorite subject last year. By just using this book and a $6 workbook, I was able to create my own curriculum for her. You can also find things at the Dollar Tree to build unit studies around. These reference books, they have tons of different reference books they get out every single year. These are just some that I just purchased, but they have one about reptiles and space. And these are from a couple years ago. There's one about the animal world. Again, a science and technology, kind of a space themed one. So you could pretty much design a curriculum or design unit studies out of really inexpensive things that may even only cost you $1 by just purchasing the book and doing a little bit of time, spending a little bit of time doing some research and pulling together different worksheets that are free on the internet or very inexpensive, and design your own curriculum that way. And my last tip, and that's what I said, it's going to be kind of a life-changing thing, and maybe you already know this, but I just wanted to throw this out there in case you don't. If you purchase something new from a company for curriculum and you don't like it, a lot of homeschool curriculum companies have a return policy, and a lot of their return policies are generous, very generous. I actually just returned a 3-year-old history curriculum that we bought. It was the first history curriculum that I purchased. We didn't like it, and she hadn't marked in the workbooks or anything, and so I was able to return that and get a completely full refund from the company. That is crazy generous. So a lot of companies will have return policies like that. So sometimes it's a certain amount of time, like 30 days or a year. And in this case, it was as long as you still had the current edition that they sell now, then you could return it. So again, even though it was 3 years old, they took it back. No questions asked. I just had to pay the shipping to send it back, but I got back over $100 that I could spend on something else, and then I got that out of my homeschool room because it was just taking up space, because I didn't know what to do with it, because I knew we didn't like it, but I didn't know where to put it. I didn't want to sell it used and take a loss on it because we had never used it. So definitely do some research before you purchase a curriculum. Check out that company's return policy. But even if you haven't done that and you've got some curriculum laying around in your homeschool room and you're like, what, I don't like this, or we're not going to use it, check that company's website and see if they have a return policy. I know all about reading and all about spelling. They have a 1-year return policy, so you can use the program, and if you still decide you don't like it after even using it, you can return it within a year. So do a little bit of research beforehand if possible, but if not, even after though you've purchased it, do a little research before you sell something used and take a loss on it. Check the website and see if it's something that you can return either in a new or used state and get your money back. So those are my tips and suggestions for how to homeschool on a budget. I really hope they were helpful. I tried to give you kind of a range and variety of different ways you can save money when you're homeschooling. So I really do hope it was helpful. If it was, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in the K-12 online public school program, I will have it linked in the description box below. And I will try to also remember to link any of the other things that I mentioned for you guys. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I do homeschooling videos quite often, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.